Is fly.
All right, welcome to episode 38, fam. Hope you've had a
38?
great week so far. Is it 38? Yes,
Yeah.
almost towards 40. And we've got our episode here, and we're going to be talking about racism. Not as a whole. Not as a whole.
Let's just get back into natural conversation. Remember how we started the
That was funny, but that was funny. We'll keep it going. No, we were just talking. We were talking before about we were talking about Sam Kerr, and we were talking about
Israel Man.
And what's his name?
Israel Man.
Never heard of him before the other day.
NRL player.
NRL.
You don't know much about football.
NRL
At all.
No.
Doesn't like football.
I couldn't tell you how little interest I have in it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you're true to yourself.
Yeah, but I thought this would have...
And you know what I mean?
Don't pretend.
I don't know, bro.
Don't pretend. It's just, it's good.
It's like you don't know.
Honestly, I do. I'm not going to lie. I do find it a little bit...
weird.
Not weird. It's just like
hyper masculine.
I don't know. No, not even that. It's like, oh, bro, the footy. Fucking this guy might go to this team, and I'm like, this is such fluff. Like, what the fuck are we having conversation about?
I get what you're saying. I understand
that conversation. What you just said. That statement reminds me of. Have you ever seen the clip of Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith, and he's like on a radio show, and he's like, "Man, people my age, they always just don't want to talk about
climate change.
Can we just talk about the state of the economic and political crisis?" Yeah, it's just like, shut up, Jaden Smith.
That is so funny.
Yeah, but I think that's actually pretty good if you have that view, because I used to think the opposite. I used to think, what do people do with their lives if they're not watching footy?
I love that, and see, that's true to Sean. Like Sean's a Kiwi.
Don't get me wrong. I understand. I see I think it's because look, don't get me wrong. I do have that to a certain extent with like other things too. So I can't really like UFC and boxing. I'm into like what's happening
in that scene.
So I guess it's no different. I guess
also too. But you came from a family where you probably weren't allowed to watch like rugby league. They were like, no, JP, you can't watch football.
No. Funnily enough, we were big Para fans when I was a kid.
Oh.
Like, I remember the 2003 Knights Eels grand final. We were in Jervis Bay watching it. I was bawling my eyes out. The Eels lost. Knights won. So yeah, I mean, and my dad's into the footy. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll sit around and watch it with him. But I guess I'm not into the social. Well, what would you call it? Like the stuff that happens. I'm not into like all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I mean, like I watch a game.
Yeah. I used to be massive when it came to footy. I used to be like really aggro when I used to watch footy. But now I've calmed down a little bit and sort of taken a bit of a different perspective with it.
Different perspective.
Yeah. So I'll give you a little bit of a story about that. Like when the All Blacks one year were playing France, I think, and if you're playing over in France, it's usually at 2:00 in the morning, 2:00, 3:00 in the morning.
Our time, yeah.
Our time. So I got up, and in the house that we were living in at that time, it was it wasn't a share house, but it was a 5-bedroom house cut into two. So we had our kitchen, 2 bedrooms, etc., and the upstairs had their own. And they had their mother come over from New Zealand and staying with them for the weekend. So anyway, watch the game. The next day, went outside to go put out the clothes, put out the washing, and she came down to go put out her washing. And she sort of came, and she was like a little bit like,
what's going on here?
What's going on here? A little bit sheepish. And we were just chatting. Oh, hey, how you going? Like, you're over here from New Zealand. And she goes, can I just ask? I don't mean to be rude, but there was a lot of yelling last night, a lot of screaming last night. And then my ex at the time goes, oh, yeah, Sean's watching the footy. The All Blacks were playing. Yeah, he always screamed at the TV. And she goes, oh, I thought you were having domestic violence.
Oh, my.
Yeah, like, bro. And the thing was, in the game, at that time, the All Blacks were winning by like 40 points.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so I used to be like, every knock on, every blah, blah, like scream at the TV, oh, you fucking useless, blah, blah.
I'd scared to be Sean's wife at the time if the All Blacks were hogged down at half time.
She's not,
Bro, I really, maybe because I played union at school, I watched the union. I just love it. I just like how it keeps going.
Yeah,
I love how it's always live.
Start.
Anyway, sorry, I took us on a bit of a tangent just then. But we'll just talk.
But on that segueing to football, there were a couple of things that sort of came up in the news this week, particularly as it goes to. Hang on, first of all, the Vegas launch of the NRL was so good. I think the media coverage is great. Yeah. But there was a bit of on-field controversy, Sean. What was the go?
Sorry. Was that the Vegas game?
Yeah.
That happened in? Many Aussies go over?
Moron.
Yeah, 40,000. They had 40,000 people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure
Aussies, but
a couple of my friends were there, and bro, the field was incredible. They grew the field outside.
So are they going to? Is there plan to launch NRL in the US?
They've got a 5-year plan. But that's hard, but that's going to be really, really hard because you have one game at the start of the year. Then what?
Yeah.
Like you wait to the next year. Like you've got to get into the universities. You've got to get like teams. You got to get all that sort of stuff.
It will happen. Bro, rugby league's a great sport.
They'll probably, what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up, there's going to be like second tier players here who are going to be able to go over there and start their career.
Yeah, bro.
And make something of
there is already a rugby league comp over there.
They do that in rugby.
There's small comps over there for rugby league.
Bro, they play union over there. Like all the unis, Duke and all them, like they all have rugby union teams.
Yes. My mate plays over there for the Gillettes or the Gillettes or some name. He plays over there.
You got to find out whether it's league or whether it's rugby, and that's the thing.
No, union gets played a lot. It's played a lot over there.
America plays in the World Cup, like Canada played in the World Cup, so it's already there, but it's not massive. At all.
Well,
so NRL have
apparently it's getting bigger though.
It will get bigger over time, but NRL have a massive mountain to climb because when you talk about NRL, they say rugby. So like,
they're going to be thinking,
Gronkowski, who was an expatriate, like a 4-time Super Bowl champion, I think they paid him to like, sell the game over the weeks that coming, and he always says rugby. Every time they interview him, oh yeah, man, this rugby's so awesome. And so whenever Americans are going to go onto YouTube and look up rugby league, they'll look up rugby, and then rugby will come up.
Correct.
So they need to change the name to just league or whatever.
Yeah.
But what did you think about like growing that in a sport in America? Like, don't you think it would be hard?
I think it would be awesome.
Hard.
I think it would be hard. I think we've only got a pool of like 26 million people in Australia, whereas America, they've got 450 million.
Yeah.
So naturally, there's going to be some challenges. But
there's so like the NFL, basketball, MLB. Like those are their three major sports, and they
apparently soccer is the fastest growing sport in the US. Though.
Really?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying MLB, baseball as well.
Yeah, baseball. That's what he meant.
But those are like their three cornerstone
MLB,
sports.
MLS is soccer. MLB is baseball.
Yeah, but anyway,
Well, there's a couple of things I draw from America when I think about America. Football and racism. Speaking about football and racism, did you hear about Ezra Man getting called a monkey?
Yeah. So that was pretty intense. It was the Broncos versus Roosters, and that was the second game. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see it happen. I was actually just coming back home. And then I turned it on, and I sort of just caught it. They were sort of in a huddle, and Ezra Man was talking to the ref, and the ref was saying, "Do you want to report it? Like, do you want to report it?
Yeah, I saw that video, and he's like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah." And then they put him on report, and what eventually came out is that he called him a monkey.
Did we see the clip of him actually calling him that or not? I didn't see that.
I don't think so. Like, it's probably there. Like, obviously, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's a few question marks here. Did he call him a monkey?
What was the intention?
Did he look at him and telepathically like signal in his brain that he's a monkey? Did he impersonate a monkey and go to him? Like, in what capacity did he actually call him a monkey?
Well, he probably didn't do that. Otherwise, we'd know about it.
From what I understand, he just called him a monkey.
Yeah, I think he's called him. But the thing is, it's more like I wonder what he was thinking in his head when he called him a monkey. Was he thinking
he wasn't?
Was he thinking like, you silly idiot?
Because when you get angry,
what's the intention?
If you get angry at someone on the road, and you sometimes have those intrusive thoughts when you look at the person driving,
like I don't know. Are you saying like you immediately want to point out something physically about them?
No, you might say, it might be something physically, it might be gender, it might be race. Like we've all had those thoughts.
It's the first thing you see.
It's the first thing you see because you see red, you're angry, right?
Yeah,
so I wonder if he had that thought and he intentionally was like, I want to cause harm and call this guy something that's going to piss him off that's racially charged.
Yeah.
Or was he just like, oh, you fucking monkey. Like, get the fuck out of here, monkey. Like, you know what I mean? Well, I actually wonder what the intention behind it was.
It's all in the deliverance.
It's all in the intention, bro.
Like, if I look at you and go, like, yes, stupid Arab, like, that's a very... that's quite cutthroat. But if I look at you and go, Arab man, like, you know what I mean?
Exactly right. If someone goes like, it's even when it's funny because when I was working with a couple of my ex-colleagues, they used to say like,
where at?
LinkedIn. Of course. I remember some of the Irish girls, they would like, apparently the word wog over there is like extremely offensive.
Oh, do they know they know the word? An Australian term.
No. But I think they mean it in the true sense of like gollywog. Like it has a
gollywog. Right. That's another way. That's where it comes from. Gollywog. Yeah.
Gollywog's like have you seen those black biscuits? What the fuck?
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
I hope oh my God, look, it's vibrating the feed.
Yeah. Well, what about, like it's like the term, wog dog. Have you ever been called a wog dog by an Aussie?
No, but the thing is, obviously, it's all delivery, right? Like we were saying, like it's like if someone like
what's wog though? Greek.
Listen, it's Greek, Italian,
ethnic.
but it's more translated now into like
ethnic.
Arabs or any Middle Eastern,
ethnic,
Mediterranean.
yeah.
Wog.
Yeah, but then again, you look at it like when you have what's that movie that they brought out, and it's the Wogs,
Wog Boys.
Wog Boys, or
But see, that,
whatever it
they've
may be.
appropriated it and they made it like a joke.
That makes it into like a
Yeah,
joke. So
yeah,
how does that go with other cultures using it, right?
Well, here's arises a question
Obviously,
from
with
that.
the black
It's
community
always
as well.
intentional. It's always
et
intention,
cetera.
bro.
It is the question,
Yeah,
but
intention,
great point, Sean. It's like, okay, now the question stems like the big thing about who was it that said, was it Spencer?
Spencer Linu.
Spencer Linu said to Ezra Man, "Yeah, monkey," but he's also of a brown skin color. So there was the question here in the media of like, is it racism if someone is saying it that's of the same culture? Like I know if I called someone a wog dog, like, and I was angry, it would come across
something Arab or whatever.
It would be less than if like a old white man just said to me.
But I will say this though. I will say this. The guy, who's the guy he said it to?
Ezra.
The guy said, yeah. No. Who was the deliverer?
Spencer.
Who said it? Spencer said it.
Yeah.
And Ezra is like blacker than
Yes.
him, right?
Yeah, he's
and
darker, he's darker.
Exactly. And right, there's this whole thing about like, the guy who said it, the bloke looks like Filipino, even though he's not. You're saying
He's Samoan.
He's Samoan.
I'm
whatever.
pretty sure he's Samoan,
But like
yeah.
he doesn't look the same as the guy he said it to. Let's be honest, right? So the whole thing is like, because there's this whole thing about like even in America about like light skinned black people,
Half caste.
and then and the light skinned people think that they're better. For example, and again, I'm not trying to like go deep on it, but it's not the same. I don't think it's the same because like they don't look identical.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Even though they are both of color.
Yeah, but it's also like, how does Ezra take that information, right? So he might have been called a monkey multiple times in his life, and
I wouldn't give him a
might be
fuck.
100%. I wouldn't personally.
He probably
but
reported it out of spite because he was pissed off about something that happened. I reckon that's
maybe.
also a big part of it. Like if, for example, it sounded when I heard that clip. I'm not saying for sure, but when I heard that clip, he's like, "Oh, he called me a monkey." He's trying to tell the ref like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah, give me a
like,
penalty.
Like, give me a penalty or fuck this. I want to fuck this guy over.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying for
But that's hard now because now it's deep. Because
Now
Spencer,
it's deep.
Spencer
Now-
might get 12 weeks off. He might get more. He
But
might get
now
half
he's
the
got
year.
to kind of he's regardless of what he thought about.
He's got to stick to
He's
it.
got to own it. Like,
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'll just look like a gronk.
That's right.
Yeah.
He can't backpedal now. He's got to stand on
He's
what
got
he
to
said.
double down
Yeah.
on.
He's got to double down. He's got to go into the
He's
next
got to
media
go and start
conference.
an association.
Yeah.
He's got to start the AMAs.
a charity.
No, but
the
it's-
Australian Monkey Association. Like
All the young boys are listening.
No, his family's
That's okay.
his family's already done that organisation. I think I can't remember what
The
it's
AMAs?
called. No, an organisation about racism and etc. I think he's already got his family already got an organisation that.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah.
Oh, so he already has
Yeah.
has. Oh, okay, so then.
From what I understand, I think.
Okay, well then it's probably likely.
But
that
I'll tell you what.
But that's
now,
what I'm saying. Like in terms of like he might have gone through something in his past where that's something that he's been told. Might also be that it was in the heat of the moment. Like he was annoyed at something or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
They were losing. Maybe and then maybe now. He's thinking,
Yeah.
oh shit, like this is pretty
someone
deep.
said that to me.
Who knows?
Someone said something like that to me. I wouldn't personally give a shit, but I would, if I in that context, I would use it.
I'll tell you
to
what.
get
but-
an outcome.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what
right.
I mean?
Yeah. I've been called a monkey before. I've been called a monkey heaps of times.
Oh, bro, I've been called heaps of shit.
Yeah,
I've been called a sand
heaps of
monkey.
stuff.
Sand monkey.
No, sand
Yeah.
I'll tell you
monkey.
what,
Like an
but
Egyptian
things
fucking-
with topics like racism, like gender inequality, like some of these really sort of emotional topics that people have experienced, firsthand, whether it's here or overseas, people like to put people in boxes.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is like someone like Candace Owens, right? Who's a black woman, who's really smart.
Right, yeah.
She goes
Conservative.
against a lot of what someone externally would say she should think that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the
like,
black
she's-
stereotype. She
she's
goes
anti-
against the
Yeah,
black
yeah,
stereotype.
yeah.
She's-
But that's her brand, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people
But she
like that.
believes
They
it,
don't
though.
like that. Yeah, she's anti-Black Lives Matter. She's anti a lot of this left-wing
Right.
left-wing ideology. But people outside say, "But you're black. How can you think like that?" And that's why I like people like her that don't.
But I will say this: she's 100% right, conservative. Everything. The only thing that is at odds is her skin color. Everything else, I like Candace.
But which is the biggest factor, though?
Yeah, but I'm
Which
saying
is the
like,
biggest
I'm
factor?
saying like it would be more. What would be? Again, I like Candace Owens.
Sure.
I really love everything she says. But I'm saying what would be more. I don't want to say impressive, but what would be more like easier more difficult to digest is if she came out and said, oh, this is how I feel about same-sex. I'm pro same-sex marriage, but I'm everything else. I'm
right.
I'm
so
right. Conservative. You know what I mean? That is more. Whereas everything that she believes is consistent. It's just her.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's not conservatism. It's God. Like she's a big believer in God.
Yeah.
Massive, and usually
that drives her,
moves towards a consive side.
That's right.
Yeah, usually, so it's not so much that she's just a conservative. She believes in God. She believes in the Word, etc. And that sort of just aligns with to that. Like the massive thing with Candace Owens, and this is the thing with regards to, can black people be racist? Like that's a big thing in America. Like only white people can be racist, or can black people be racist? But you hear the things that they say about her. They call her a coon. They call her
the N-word.
The N-word. They call her all these sorts of things, like the black community to her, and they really say a lot of things that like she hates the black community. She hates being black. She hates her skin color.
Oh, they say that about her.
They say that about her. It's crazy. Like, and even like you look at other conservatives who are black, that's the whole narrative towards them, because you look at 93%, 95% of the black community who do vote Democrat. Like they've done that since the 60s. So you see a black person that's sort of, and especially in the Trump era, obviously, is
that actually true? It's 90-something%, is it?
Yeah. Like 95% of black people, they
vote Democrat.
Of who do vote. Like they're only 13% of the population, which is still pretty big. Yeah. But they vote heavily Democrat. Yeah.
But bro, even if you've ever watched the Whatever podcast, you would have seen it on YouTube, and it's like and to your point, there's a lot of those sort of, young men and women that probably haven't experienced a lot of life, and I don't agree with a lot of their opinions. They're like, yeah, black people can't be racist, and men can't experience sexism. And it's like, bro, like, what is this argument based on what?
On the Whatever podcast.
Yeah, on the Whatever podcast. But there's a lot of things that you hear about this. Even like with originally the black slave owners that were once slaves. There were blacks that became slave owners that were once slaves that were actually found to treat the slaves even harder than the white man was. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's pretty prevalent. That was pretty prevalent back in the day. I mean, that's how they got the slaves. They were sold by
other black people.
In Africa. Yeah, and do you watch The View?
Yeah.
Do you watch The View? Have you heard about The View? Like Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hoskins.
Oh, I know of it. It's not on. Have you seen? Still on though?
It's still going. Yeah,
are they all alive?
They're fully far left. Like massive.
Are they all alive? Why do I have a feeling someone on that show died?
There was one lady that was on there for a long time. She's left, but her name's Sunny Hoskins, and she's massive on reparations, massive on this victim mentality.
Yes, the victim mentality.
Even though she's a millionaire, whatever. But she did a DNA test. And in the DNA test, she found that some of her ancestors were slave owners.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
It was a pretty funny video. Whatever you think about it, whatever. But just in terms of her face dropped, like...
Yeah.
Oh.
Coming to the realization. I'll tell you another show of panelists that I absolutely despise and have a disdain for. The Project on Channel 10.
Oh, yeah. I really watch it.
Never met Waleed and that whole group of clowns. Never met
that show is purely for entertainment.
No, it's not. That's true.
Propaganda.
That's true opinion.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like their whole agenda is to get like clicks and views.
It's a very weird show. Like it's very.
That's what I mean. It's not. There's nothing pure about it. It's an entertainment show.
Yeah, like the forced laughs and
tripping out. Just like,
you know what I would like on a show like that? If it would be so great if they could just put one person that didn't go with the narrative
with the same. Yeah.
But they have that. They have that on The View as well. They have one conservative. They have one conservative on there. They have four like liberals, one conservative, but bro, they should be called the one voice. Like it's not. It's like they always shut them down. You can't. It's
one view.
Yeah.
100%.
But then when you talk about like, okay, so who can be racist, who can't be racist, and that's what the question is. Like going back to Spencer.
Everyone can.
I believe that 100%.
Totally.
I think that can be, but that's what society's saying, right? Especially in America. And I say America because the majority of what happens in America always filters down to Australia, to New Zealand, etc. So. When, like for me, him saying that, it didn't bother me because I think I said to you before, I do prescribe to the whole, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Yeah. And again, like whatever you say about me says more about you than me, all that sort of stuff like that. But again, Ezra might have a different perspective because of the things he does with the community, because of the things that he's experienced as well. But then coming back to like, just because Spencer's got dark skin.
Yeah.
Does that mean that it's not any worse or any...
Can I just say, Sean, I'd like to get your opinion. So, like, NJP, do you think that we've gone now... so far to the opposite side where it's like, okay, before we were fighting for, equality and, there was real racism, and this is what Candace Owens touches on, as well as a lot of other sort of maybe political figures or people with a voice that, her parents and, her relatives and those slightly in the generations prior had to deal with like real hardcore issues. And now we've kind of gone the other way where it's like even the slightest thing is now checked. And it's like you have to, there's a reason to be offended. Now that Ezra Mann said that one thing on the field that, probably wasn't the right thing to say. But
now you got to watch everything now.
Now it's just going to snowball into this thing where we got to pick on every little thing. It's like,
But then the question goes like this, like, okay, so what happened in an NRL game, for example, if I'm playing and I call a white guy a cracker?
A cracker?
Like a cracker.
Like a jack?
Trailer trash or whatever.
Yeah, trailer trash or whatever. Is that racist? Is that going to be brought up in the same manner?
That's right.
I don't think so.
100%. I don't think so, but should it?
Yeah, I know.
Like, what's the standard?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know what
I know what you're saying.
Is it a case-by-case type thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, at the end of the day, everyone... People would like to think and like to say that they are above all of this stuff that we are talking about, but it's just not true. Everyone has participated in what we are talking about.
Yeah, totally.
Sometime in their life, right? A slip of the tongue, whatever. And to be honest, if you're not saying it, there are times where those intrusive thoughts come in, right? The fact is that everyone says to me that I am intrusive thoughts. Like, I'll just anyway.
True, and there are some stereotypes that are just true, though.
Yeah, I can't help himself.
He can't say it.
Just fucking rattle them off. Go, rattle them off one by one.
No,
all right, ready? First, we'll start with women. Go.
No, come on.
Take my microphone as well.
Don't be silly. All right, listen,
and then let's move to Asians.
No, listen. Okay.
Wait, have you seen The Office?
Okay, it's fact. Asians can't
Calm down.
Let me give you an example.
Can I just finish? I want to finish. I was going to say.
Go finish. Sorry.
Yeah, so my point is, everyone thinks they're above this stuff or whatever, right? But the fact is that everyone's tolerance for this sort of stuff, even when it comes to a slip of the tongue or if it's some people saying stuff, has gone down so much. Like, no one has any tolerance for it. And the reason is because people don't want to get castrated socially or publicly or by the group of people, right? Yeah. Everyone wants to tiptoe because no one wants to get cancelled.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas before, like, I feel like there was a threshold that was
healthy.
That people would... Healthy is the wrong word. There was a threshold that, like, people were like, hey, like, relax. You've gone too far. Yeah. But, like, a bit, you know what I mean?
People just flog it off like, oh, come on, man, don't say that.
Yeah, because the fact is it doesn't matter if you used to give it. You also used to receive it. So there was a healthy amount of thick skin that you had to have. Because guess what? I walk around, I get called a Sam Monkey. I get called an Arab or whatever. And I'm like, guess what? It kind of, like, thickens my skin a bit.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll give it back the following week in some other way, shape or form. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So let me just tell you something. Have you seen The Office?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you seen the episode with Steve Carell? So you've seen the episode where he makes all the employees, they have to have a different race on their
head,
on their card, right? And then what they have to do is they have to, like, face each other, and then you have to say, like,
or you have to, like, pretend
like, so who am I?
I've seen it.
So there's Dwight and there's the office lady, the front office lady. Now her one is Asian, right? Or Chinese, I think.
Yeah.
So his one's Chinese, sorry, and she has to say...
Steve Carell?
No, Dwight.
Dwight, okay, sorry.
So his one's Chinese, so she has to, like, say things like, okay, well, this is what it might be. Oh, that's it there. Yeah, that's it there.
Can I connect this? I'd just like to just get this clip up. I think it'll be quite funny. How do I just connect this, boys? Jamie, can you get
Bluetooth?
this up?
Jamie.
Yeah. I went B28.
Yeah.
So this goes into what you were saying about say something about females, say something about Asians.
Right.
That's
so
right.
Is this the scene?
Okay,
so
I wasn't saying that.
Wait. Here we go.
No, I wasn't saying that either.
I was just encouraging Maddie.
Am I a woman?
Yeah. Oh, you missed it. You fucked it.
Rewind it, you lemon.
Oh, man. Am I a woman?
No, bro. No. So you got to... it's still going to be good.
Different clip.
It's not fair. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So anyway, what happened...
Stop talking.
No, you have to find a different video.
Okay,
he's done it. Yeah.
There's still more happening in that video.
No, but
he keeps cutting me off.
No, but you've missed it. You missed the joke.
Okay.
You've gone past it. When he said, "Oh, my woman," it's because she was saying, like, he was Asian, and she was saying, "Okay, well, there's a stereotype that I don't want to say, but it might be this, but I might not be able to drive." And he goes, "Oh, are you a woman?"
Well, we didn't miss it. It wasn't in the video.
Yeah, it wasn't in the video, Sean. That was the very start of the clip.
Yeah,
it was in the video. He said, "I'm a woman."
No,
And
no,
as
the
soon
first
as
bit,
like, the first 1
bit.
second, it was done.
I know, that's what I mean. It was
Yeah.
done, so there's no point.
That's not what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Anyway, so yeah. But what were you asking? You were asking about like in terms of equality and that sort of stuff. So I watched a podcast yesterday on Stephen Bartlett, the Diary CEO, and he was talking to an ex CIA spy. And what he does at the end of his podcast, he says, okay, so everybody leaves a question for the next guest.
Yep.
And then you have to answer the question. So the question for the CIA agent was, it was about equality. Like, do you think, what do you think about equality within the world, etc.? And he said, well, I don't think there's any equality. There's no equality because everybody wants to be better than everybody else. So we all want to be above each other, where we don't want things to be equal. Like, for example, like we're equal, we want to be the same, we all want to be equal footing, whether it comes to racism, whatever it may be. But he said, in truth, that doesn't happen because everybody wants to be more powerful or better than the next person.
Right.
He said it
Dark.
he said it a lot better.
Dark, but true.
He said it a lot better, but I was like, yeah, that's.
I thought you were talking about like someone.
No.
Because you're like dark. I'm like, who are you
Oh,
talking
it's
about?
like skin color.
Oh, yeah, that's what I
No,
thought you
I meant like that's
No,
like
yeah.
that's
like
dark.
dark humor.
No, not dark humor. As in like that's dark. Like it's
Oh, like
Yeah.
that's sinister.
it's deep. It's like kind of like fucking sad.
Yeah,
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 okay.
yeah.
I thought you meant like dark, like you just like.
I mean, explained a little bit better, but that was our consensus. What he was saying, like equality will never happen because people always want to be better than others.
That's right.
So you're never going to get like an equal footing, whether it's whatever.
Well, even rewinding it, do you remember, like, this is sort of on that same topic, I guess, like, goes into the sexism thing, like, where Chris Gale was, like, interviewed by, I can't remember who it was exactly. What was her
She's
name?
a Seven presenter.
Yes.
Mel.
Chris Gale, he's like, don't blush, baby. He said that to
So
her.
he was having an
never heard
interview
of
with
it.
the Seven presenter, and he was being. Like, people were saying he was being a little bit sexist because he was
Flirtatious,
almost
you know.
like flirting with her on
Yeah.
national TV. And
Was
all
he?
that.
You can really tell when that stuff happens.
Oh, in my opinion,
I've seen some clips where that stuff absolutely happens.
Totally.
Where they patronise and condescend to women.
Yeah, let's have a
and
look at
stuff.
this one.
It's the top one.
Which one?
Top one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
it's
right.
that one.
Don't blush, baby.
So
I'm just gonna rewind this.
Incredibly aggressive approach for you two. It looks like you're absolutely just smashing this innings.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I want to come and have an interview with you as well. That's the reason why I'm here. So just to see your eyes for the first time. It's nice. So hopefully win this game and we can have a drink after. Don't blush, baby.
That's pretty full on.
Did you, any injuries?
Bro, she was uncomfortable.
She was uncomfortable. Don't blush, baby. He milked her with that.
He did.
He really milked. The first bit kind of came across as sweet,
Cleared up a bit, so
but he milked it when he said, "Don't blush, baby."
hopefully I finish the tournament. So I'm looking forward to go recover well and look in your eyes.
We're gonna leave it on
Nah,
that.
he's
Well done,
milking
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
think
bit
it
far.
was a bit far.
He absolutely milked it, and
Yeah.
he was obvious. You could tell he was. You can tell
trying
when
to set
it's-
it up.
You can tell when it's sweet, and you can tell when he's like at the end he's having a laugh with the boys or something.
Yeah, he was totally the thing, you know. But
Yeah,
like,
man,
I guess,
but,
look, I get that. I think they blew it out the arse.
I don't remember how big the blow up was, but.
But he was kind of looking at her.
He's an idiot.
He was
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at her like,
Like would either of you ever do that? No.
No.
You wouldn't do that.
No.
You wouldn't even do that. Even Maddie wouldn't do that. Like it's stupid because like even though he probably thought she's beautiful, maybe he does want to have a drink with her, whatever. He almost
Yeah, but it's
like,
not the time and place
He
to do
leaned
that.
too much in, like,
Yeah.
and he was looking at her up and down like a piece
a
of me. He's like,
creep.
hello, yeah, don't blush.
She was staring at the ground like, oh, okay.
She's
Yeah.
just like, I'm trying to get an interview done here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
being professional.
Yeah.
But I think as well, like, you know, that you got to take into account, like, he's from the Caribbean, and I think, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but I mean, look, to be fair, I mean, if he had done that with, I don't know, wherever he's from, the news reporter
Might
would have
be-
been the same.
Yeah, the
I
news
don't know.
reporter would have been like, drop it low, drop it low.
Pandari play.
Bro, the tough thing with all these topics, like, there's so much context is so important.
Oh,
So
100%.
important. Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
like, for example, context. Like, if we were to literally go through and go, like, what does what are you guys doing?
I just wanted to clap.
Oh, round of applause, thank you.
Context, 100%.
Context,
Ding, 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 ding,
because
ding.
for example, like even everything we've been discussing in relation to Ezra Mann, or even this guy, like context is so important. For example, like, you know, his background, what would be like, you know, if you were to sit in his shoes, he probably thought, I'm being playful, I'm being friendly, I'm being kind of sweet. I had no intention of like patronizing this woman, but I understand how it might have come across to her.
Yeah.
You know, because maybe a reporter like from where he's from might would have come up and gone, hey, it's like, you know what I mean? And maybe they're all really like,
right.
I don't know, like it's just different. Like you just can't.
Different cultures, different
but like
scenarios.
the fact is that what he did in that context was inappropriate.
Yes.
Like maybe if we had seen him in another setting, we would have been like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, like if he was at the bar off camera and said, hey, what's going on, baby, don't blush. But he was on live TV after a sports game. You know what I mean? Like she was literally
with a
applauding.
reporter who probably is thinking like this is a very male-dominated industry.
Is that Cooper
like
Cronk's wife?
No.
Oh, no. Who's Cooper Cronk's wife?
She does the soccer. I don't know her name, but she does the football. Yeah. But then that's the same thing with Spencer. Like, what did he mean? Like, what did he mean by it? Was it just a cheeky throwaway line, or was it actually like, yeah, you're an effing monkey? Yeah. Like, I don't think he said the effing part, but so.
Have you seen that South Park episode?
Because he could have been like you're messing around. Like, bro, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about, mate?
Yeah, like a little monkey.
Like when I used to, when you call something, like if you guys would probably call me a monkey if I'm fucking jumping around the gym.
You are a monkey,
but you wouldn't mean it in a racist sense. You'd be like, this guy's literally jumping around like a monkey.
Totally. Like, we're not condoning what he said, but it's just like, it's what it is. You got to look at both sides, I guess. But then again, you look at Sam Kerr and her one. What's going on?
What happened with Sam Kerr?
Give us a rundown. That one's sus because why didn't she say anything? It just makes it look so much worse.
Well, I think Kristen just said this morning she got off.
No, she didn't get off.
Can you?
What do you mean?
Maybe
they're considering stepping her down.
Okay, so this is what happened.
Give us the breakdown here.
Let's see what happened. So about a year ago, she's obviously in Europe. She plays in the EPL in Europe.
Yeah.
Crushes it. Like she is
they won a game 3-0.
She scored three
goals in that game. Yeah.
So she plays over there. She's like the face of Matilda. She's a captain, and obviously they just had the World Cup.
Chelsea, right?
Chelsea, plays for Chelsea. So she's huge. She's a massive sports star. So about a year ago, what supposedly happened is they had some issue with a taxi or whatever it may be.
Taxi fare or something.
Taxi fare, and the police came, and she supposedly said something racial.
No one knows what she said.
She said. So that was a year ago. So they've only just charged her or investigated 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So now it's all come out now that she said this. Yeah. Supposedly in a year's time, she's going to go to court.
Yeah, next year she's going to court.
She's supposedly could potentially get 6 months prison.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably some maximum penalty.
Yeah, potentially. If it's her first time, then maybe she'll get let off or whatever it may be. But yeah, like it's a pretty big story.
Football
like
Australia only found out when it broke on the news yesterday.
And that's a conversation like, why didn't she say it earlier? Maybe she just thought at the start of the year, like, And also, I mean, like but it does make it look a little bit worse and it makes it look more sinister. Like, did she actually do something sus? Otherwise, why wouldn't she just get ahead of it? But also, she might have said it and the cop just internalized it and then made a complaint later.
Or maybe the cop wasn't even there. Maybe the taxi driver went and literally lodged whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's a pretty big story because she's massive, like in terms of in the sporting world, in terms of even just football for both men and women.
I think it's also a little bit worse. Again, context. It's worse that it's happened to her because of the fact that like they're obviously trying to. It was a big thing, like raising the profile for women's sports and for the Socceroos, and there was this whole big hoo-ha about it. Women and look at what they're doing, what have you. And then this comes out, it's not good for the brand. It's not good for the brand in general, but I think it's particularly damaging when, the whole vibe was like, like this is awesome for women and for women's sports, and we have such an amazing. Like superstar and role model here,
and now we're moving, we're progressing
the way, and we're progressing.
But the thing that's, I'm not saying it's worse, but she was massive in obviously moving forward with racism, like in terms of
I didn't know that.
In terms of like being a voice for racism, like she was So it gets a little bit deeper, like in terms of like.
Maybe people that are ethnic, including us, maybe we're actually just more racist.
No, not saying she's more racist. She was she was against racism.
Yeah.
And
which I kind of like that this has happened. This is interesting. It's a spanner in the works. It's like, ooh, this was not expected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of cool in that sense. It's like now everyone that backed her and now she's kind of gone against the narrative. Now it's like, okay, now
but we don't know what happened though.
Welcome. No, not at all. I just think it's like a bit of I don't know. It's just like a bit of a FU to the establishment that we're like. And I'm not saying what they're pushing was wrong in it by any means, but it's like. See, everyone falls into these things.
You're saying like, you put people on a pedestal, and you put this movement on a pedestal when really,
and then so what did she actually say to the taxi driver? Sorry,
no one knows. But she has a moment of weakness. Throws out. Let's just say she did. If she did, she throws out some racial slur, and it's like, well. We're all human.
Exactly.
It fucking happens. Yeah. And no one's above it.
But the funny thing is, for the Spencer and the new one, they're blowing up.
Who?
Like it's all over the place. Spencer.
Oh.
Like, but for Sam Kerr, it's very different.
But also,
in terms of because if you're higher profile, then obviously.
Yeah.
Like Spencer in footy, he's a bit of a grub. Like he's a hot head.
Whoa,
He's a hot head. Like he always gets into like.
Hold on, what do you mean by that?
He always gets. He always gets into.
What are you trying to say? Slimy. He always gets his skin color.
Are you saying like he's black and shiny?
Yeah. So he gets into fights and whatever. Like he always it's been like that for the last.
He always
few
gets
years.
into fights. Are you generalizing here?
No, he does.
Are you putting him to a box?
What are you trying to say about him?
Yeah, I am putting him in a box. That he's a fucking grub.
Put him in a box.
What are you trying to say?
Do you mean box like jail cell because black people go to jail? Is that what you're saying, Sean?
Anyway, yeah. So it's a.
What is it G'ing out for?
What do you mean I'm G'ing out? I'm trying to tell the fucking story.
Yeah, sorry, you finished.
Yeah, I've lost it now.
You
So
lost
don't
your
worry
train
about it. Yeah.
Wait. Repeat back what Shawnee said.
Basically, you said that black people are in a box.
No,
Spencer's a grub. Yeah,
yeah. So he's highly aggressive. So there's a lot of people in the NRL that don't like him.
Yeah, okay.
So he's already got
using
that.
This as like
as fuel to the fire.
Bro, listen, if Roger Federer came out and said something racist, everyone's like, bro, maybe brush under the rug, brush over. Because Roger Federer, everyone loves Roger Federer. Who gives a shit? He can do no wrong.
But if Djokovic came out and did it, it might be a little bit different, especially back in the day. Because
if Kyrgios did it,
oh my god, you would hear about
game over. Game over for the gender.
So that's what I'm saying about the two. Like in the NRL, like obviously it's blown up, but then Sam Kerr, obviously we don't know what she said, so that makes a big difference. But it's pretty massive if you're potentially going to go to jail for 6 months, right? Like, but again, she's a sweetheart of football. The higher you are with regards to
your stature or
profile, then.
But also, let's not forget. There's a recipe in the media.
There's a recipe for a
recipe for a great story,
100%.
right? And like at the end of the day, they're always going to milk the narrative.
They're going to milk it like dogs,
right? So the whole point is that none of these things would actually gather any fucking traction. Obviously, if it wasn't for the media. So it's a matter of like what makes for the best narrative, what makes for the best story.
Right?
Like, is Roger Federer coming out and saying, but then again, you could say like, remember Tiger Woods and the whole like he's cheating on his wife scandal.
Yes.
That was like, bro, that was the biggest blow up.
Yeah,
bro, that was huge. Remember that?
That was the biggest thing ever.
He disappeared for like years.
Yeah, but that's because he was seen as this like
holy grail
human.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you put people on a pedestal, man. We're all going to fall short of the glory of God. Amen.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that Sam Kerr should be like smashed in the media. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like this. It's just funny how you see the differences in the story.
Well, you know, I like. There's so many other concontroversies. I mean, we could go on all day here. Even like I like hearing about like and I'm conscious of time here.
You always throw this into the end for some reason.
You know, there's like the whole thing with I think it was a how do I say this without offending? A cis woman, is that what you say? A person who was born a female or born a male decided to transition and then go into
become female.
Yeah, female for weightlifting. And this has happened in swimming as well. And
just reminded me of the Dave Chappelle clip where he's like, what if LeBron James became a female and joined the WNBA? Like, should he be allowed to play or score 480 points a game?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's an even a controversy in itself. Like, are we too scared to say that that's wrong? Because I don't think that's wrong. I think the main point to consider there is the fact that it's not fair.
Ideology.
It doesn't seem fair, right? I mean, you know what I mean? Imagine the juice transitions to a woman. I start benching. Sorry, me.
Speaking of the juice.
The juice. Yeah. Imagine I transition to a woman. I start benching. I bench 140 on their heads.
Literally.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I become like the APA. Ursula's
Ursula about that. Remember you ask you about the numbers. You're like, is that all?
Yeah.
Smash that. This is my warm up.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, man.
It's just like it's more about like I think that the main argument to be had is there's like fairness.
Final thoughts here, boys.
Ideology, it's crazy.
Final thoughts, Sean.
Don't be racist.
Don't be racist.
I mean, context
if you're not racist, you're safe.
Context is king, not content. Context is king. But king and queen. But yeah. Look, like I said, for whatever happened, like those little sort of microaggressions, like I say, you could call it. Like I'm against that stuff, but it doesn't really. I don't take it offense to it. Yeah. Especially was towards me because I've had that happen towards me, and it's sort of something that I sort of pass on. But anyway, that's it. Don't be racist.
Sean, JP, closing thoughts.
Yeah, no, good. Just, good broad-natured discussion.
Good, safe discussion.
No, I mean, I think when you like dig into these topics, you really get to understand. I think, what the good thing is about this format is we get to really understand how each one of us is thinking.
And seeking to understand.
Generally speaking, most people, when they have these conversations, they're waiting to jump back with their thoughts or their opinion and tell you why you're wrong.
That's right.
But I think this was a good discussion.
Open
I think
dialogue.
most people that would listen to it would like really would identify with it and say, that's fair enough.
Or people may disagree, and that's okay too, because opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Some shit more than others.
And, what about you, Matthew? Closing thoughts?
Racism overall is wrong, but there are some stereotypes that are funny. All right.
Oh, am I a woman?
No, not like that. It's just that Asians can't drive. Great to have you on for.
It's just a joke, everybody. It's just a joke.
Yeah. Thanks for
thanks for listening in.
Don't blush, baby.
See you guys.